Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Thank you for coming to my channel and clicking on my face. Today, I'm here to talk to you about Talen Horton-Tucker of the Los Angeles Lakers, second year forward. Not sure exactly what school he came from, but I do know that young fella has unteachable intangibles and outer worldly arm length. So you know for a fact that he is somebody who is going to be effective on the basketball floor when he comes into his own. Now, what we've seen in this preseason has been him being on absolute and utter fire, albeit against a Clipper team that's kind of shaken by the way things have gone for them very recently, as well as changes in their lineup. And it's preseason, so I'm not going to jump out of the window like a lot of fans are. Although I did add him to some of my fantasy teams, we are going to see. It's a speculative ad, and we're going to see if he can keep this up. 4 for 5 from 3 in the last game. I think he came out of there with 33 points, 10 rebounds. He is going to be able to give you that type of aggression. I don't know that 4 out of 5 is sustainable, but looking at the shots that he chose to take, looking at the way that he was being aggressive driving with the basketball, aggressive obviously with the boards, this is something that I think he can continue to do. And the Lakers are going to have to make a decision. And that decision is, do you forego his production possibilities or his progression in his playing time so that you can justify, just continuing to have players like KCP, Kyle Kuzma in the rotation, Wesley Matthews, vets who are making money. Well, not really Wesley Matthews, but vets who are on this team with the intention of making a real dent in the rotation. And I think when you bring on, when a guy like Talen takes off like this kid is in the preseason, it makes you wonder if it's really necessary to have certain players absorbing up so much cap space if he's going to be this productive on a rookie contract. So when I look at like KCP's contract, I wasn't upset at us signing KCP, but now if I want Talen to get 22, 23 minutes and 25 minutes a game, and by the end of the season be a starter, which in my mind, if he keeps this up, may even come sooner than the end of the season, then I suddenly don't want KCP's contract on the books anymore. I want that out of here. And it has nothing to do with KCP as a player, whether or not I think he's good. That's irrelevant. I'm talking about, does it make sense to have him playing limited minutes for the money that he's making? Is that good for him? Is that, obviously depth is the name of the game, and more teams are becoming more, more deep, more or less, because the draft that just happened gave us an infusion and gave the entire league an infusion of basically meaningful role players. That's what I see in this draft. Meat and potatoes, bench players, some starters, not really a bunch of superstars, but guys that are going to make an impact on their team, right away, basically. And that's going to be the thing. I think this is an underrated draft class. And just to get back to Talen, I think it would be dope if he could be considered for eligibility for rookie of the year. I know that he did play last season, but extremely limited minutes. We know that he wasn't on the floor. I felt like Devontae Graham should have been eligible for rookie of the year last year. If I don't know if he was in his second year or third year, but when you start thinking about guys who haven't played at all, even though they've been on these teams, why shouldn't they be eligible for rookie of the year? If you are able to give a guy like Ben Simmons rookie of the year for, obviously being in the league for like 2 years under different circumstances, albeit, but being in the league, being under contract, being paid by the NBA, and not actually being on the floor. But he's eligible. So why wouldn't a guy like Talen? Why wouldn't a guy like Devontae? Why wouldn't a guy, such as Julius Randle or somebody like that who didn't play their first season not be eligible? To play to get rookie of the year the next year. It should be blanketed amongst playing time, not necessarily whether or not they were on a roster the previous season, in my opinion. Or they should give a separate award for that. I know most improved does fall in that category, but unfortunately, most improved usually goes to guys who are turning into superstars, which I think is ridiculous, to be completely honest with you. I always thought most improved should be guys who weren't any good last year who have made themselves the most improved player in the league. But a lot of times, the reality is, sometimes the most improved players are guys who are on the cusp of being great and then they turn into great. And of course, that would literally be most improved. But I just don't like how that's constructed anyway. Just personal preference. But either way, when I look at Talen Horton-Tucker, I look at this as a rookie. This is a rookie. He played in the G League mostly last year. He might have put on our uniform twice, maybe made a layup or two. Come on, it's a rookie. He's 20 years old, and he just turned 20, if I'm not mistaken. So I would love to see him get his opportunity this year with our team in terms of getting real minutes. Like I said, I see him as a 22 to 25 minute per game guy. I do. I don't see him as just a role player that you bring in with garbage time and no, because he's such a fantastic defender. He really is. He has extremely long arms, and he'll body up with a number of different positions on the floor at any given time because of his size and length. And on the offensive end, he's going to make whatever defensive player who's going to be against him work and work very hard. He's a physical player. He drives. He moves with reckless abandon. He's unorthodox when he's driving at the rim, and he does have good footwork and dribble. A foundation to become a good ball handler. So the intangibles that I see with this kid, Talen, obviously he can stretch the floor. He doesn't have any problem shooting the ball. So, these are things that you really consider when you're talking about drafting in the second round and trying to find players that can give you the most bang for your buck. I think the Lakers knocked it out of the park once again with this kid. But I thought that last year. I saw some of his highlights and I did a little research on him after we drafted him. And to be honest with you, I'm not surprised by anything I'm seeing. I think the only thing that I can say that does kind of make me raise my eyebrows is just how productive he's been in these first two preseason games. But the style in which he's playing is exactly the way that I saw him play in the YouTube footage that I seen of him when he was in college. He shoots the ball, he drives the ball, and he uses his length to get steals and blocks. He's really, really good at all of those things. But the only problem with him when he was drafted was that he was chubby. He had never, ever been in good shape. All the time that he had played basketball, he just kind of teetered around being okay, but he was unathletic. What I see is a guy who's been working out with some of the best trainers the world has to offer, in LeBron James and Anthony Davis and all of their trainers. And he looks like he's in the best shape of his entire life and developing the right habits early enough in his career to where you can project him to get even better and better in terms of his conditioning. And if that's the case, again, talent, intangibles, he already has them. If he was doing all that with a chubby body, if he can stay in shape and become a workout warrior, can you imagine what type of player we have right here? This is not a role player. Like, this could be a potential all-star. So I'm looking at this guy, and I think his upside is a lot of different things, but it's going to be about conditioning, health, and of course opportunity. So I would love to see the Lakers give him that. And if they're not able to give him that, move him on. Don't Kyle Kuzma this kid. Because, you can really stump a guy's growth and send him in the other direction in terms of his trajectory. We've seen it a million times. We expect to see it some now with some of the players that have been drafted in certain places. So I think it's so very important that Talen Horton-Tucker get his minutes and get them early. And it's fantastic that he's on a winning team. He already has an NBA championship. That's another thing. It's like we want him to stay hungry. Because when you get early success, sometimes guys just, why work hard? You've already won. But for a guy like that, I would say there is a bag out there for you, a very big one, if you continue to work and continue to play the way that you are. So, the Lakers play tonight. It's the third preseason game. He's played great in the first two. We are going to see if he's the type of player that's going to continue to do this. And the most encouraging thing that we have to remember is, even though we're playing preseason games, the Clippers had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on the floor. He stole the ball from Kawhi Leonard. He went down the other end and shot a three after doing so. Like, this is not him doing this against the back of the bench Clipper players, which is really, really fascinating. If he's doing this against one of the greatest defenders in the world, I would imagine that he's going to have this type of success against pretty much anyone. So maybe I'm overthinking this thing, but Talen looks like he's going to be one of the better draft picks, period. like ever, if he can keep this up. So it's great to see the ascension of this player. And now we have to wonder what this does for Kyle Kuzma. Does he take him out of the lineup entirely? He has also had a good preseason this year. He too was a player who made his name in the preseason in his rookie year, just completely hitting everything and showing us superstar capability. So if Kyle Kuzma is going to have a good season, it would be great to see us capitalize on his trade value and get him to a team where he can spread his wings, because we know that even though he's winning, this is not the best situation for his career. He's not going to be able to put himself in a position to get 150 million, 225 someday. Like, as long as he's playing for the Lakers, that's not going to happen. And I don't know that he's working toward that in terms of his own personal goals. You don't know what guys want, you know what I mean? You don't know what makes them tick, but I would imagine success in this league for a lot of players, especially after winning the championship, is getting the most money you can possibly get. And the only way he's going to do that is if he gets better. And the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he gets minutes and meaningful play, and to be able to be put in positions for him to succeed and do the things that he's good at. And I just don't think we've done a good enough job at all, just over his tenure period, of allowing him to be in positions to do what it is that he's best at. The only time I really saw that is when he was on the floor with Lonzo Ball, as I've said a million times in my videos. The best basketball I've seen from Kyle Kuzma came from passes that were passed by Lonzo Ball. So I would love to see them reunited. Now, I know that Lonzo's in a very interesting situation because New Orleans is a young team. He's probably going to be there for a little bit. Kyle Kuzma is Jeannie Buss, one of Jeannie Buss's favorite players. Obviously, she's not wavering on trading him at all. We've had a million opportunities to trade him, and we haven't. And I'm okay with that. I don't, personally, it's not like I want him off the team immediately, but I just think for him as a player, I just think he would be best being somewhere else. I'm removing my Laker fandom from it and just looking at what's best for the player. LA ain't it. It ain't. So that's what I think. But for Talen Horton-Tucker, it's a bit different because of the positions that he plays and how effective he is defensively as well as offensively. If I felt Kuzma were that effective of a defender, I would change my tune. But he's an offensive player. Offense first, offense second. He gives you effort, though. Don't get it twisted. He's not lacking in effort defensively. But he's just not as effective as a guy like Talen, as a guy like B.I., etc. So that's what I'm looking at. Paying attention to what I see out here. There's more to say. There are other players, of course, that I have my eye on that I've really appreciated seeing this preseason. But I just wanted to give love to my own guy because I'm a Laker fan to the death of me. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name is BDF44, and I'm out.